You know that thing when you buy something from another country and it suddenly costs more, like when you order a really cool gadget online and then there's an extra fee because it was made overseas? That, my friends, is often the work of a tariff. In simple terms, a tariff is like a tax on imports. It's a fee that a country adds to the price of goods coming in from another country. Governments use tariffs for different reasons, but it basically boils down to wanting to control what comes into their country and how much it costs. Think of it like this. Imagine a country is like your house and you want to keep unwanted things out. You might put up a fence, that's like a border. But you also might want to make it more expensive for certain things to get in. Maybe you really hate those annoying singing fish decorations. You could put a special tax on those just to discourage people from bringing them into your house. That's kind of what a tariff is like, but for countries and their economies. It's a way to control what comes in and influence prices. Let's say you're a business in America and you want to sell fancy Italian shoes. You buy those shoes from a supplier in Italy. Without tariffs, you just pay the agreed upon price for the shoes and bring them to America to sell. Now imagine the American government decides to protect its own shoe industry. They slap a 25% tariff on those Italian shoes. Now when you bring those shoes into America, you have to pay an extra 25% of their value to the government. This makes those Italian shoes more expensive for you, the seller. What do you think happens next? To stay in business, you have to raise the price of those shoes for your customers. So, because of the tariff, those stylish Italian shoes just got a lot more expensive for American shoppers. This is a simplified example, but it shows how tariffs work in the real world. They add an extra cost to imported goods, and that cost is often passed down to consumers. Countries use tariffs for a number of reasons, some good, some not so good. One of the main reasons is to protect their own industries. Remember the example with the Italian shoes. By putting a tariff on those shoes, the American government makes it more expensive to buy them. This might encourage people to buy American-made shoes instead, protecting American shoemakers' jobs. Another reason countries use tariffs is to try and punish other countries for what they see as unfair trade practices. For example, if one country feels like another country is dumping cheap goods in their market, they might impose tariffs to try and level the playing field. Sometimes tariffs are also used to generate revenue for the government. However, this is usually not the primary reason for imposing tariffs, as it can have unintended consequences for consumers and businesses. Tariffs are a bit like that double-edged sword you hear about in stories. They can have both positive and negative effects. On the one hand, tariffs can protect domestic industries and jobs, as we saw with the shoe example. They can also be used as a bargaining chip in international trade negotiations. However, tariffs can also lead to higher prices for consumers. Remember, that extra cost is often passed down. This can hurt consumers, especially those who rely on imported goods. Tariffs can also lead to trade wars, where countries retaliate with their own tariffs, creating a vicious cycle of escalating costs and economic uncertainty. So, understanding tariffs is important because they directly affect our wallets and the global economy. They're a complex issue with no easy answers, but knowing how they work can help us make informed decisions as consumers and citizens.